In a world on the brink of annihilation, the powerful mage, our MC Satsuna Cromwell, leads humanity's last stand. Against the evil god Vindre, Setsuna and his team fought bravely. Together, they cast a massive spell that wiped out monsters and cleared a path straight to Vindre. Satsuna combined all 6 of their magic powers into one powerful attack. But even their most devastating spells proved useless, and Vindre attacked back, and the mages were overwhelmed. Satsuna was badly hurt. With no energy left, he still managed to land a small magic punch, and it actually hurt Vindre. That gave Satsuna hope, but he couldn't keep fighting. Facing death, a magical necklace, the necklace of rebirth gifted by his old headmaster, activates, sending him 10 years into the past. Satsuna finally opens his eyes to a friend of his, Leo, smacking him from behind while telling him to stop spacing out. Satsuna is shocked to see Leo, since he is supposed to have gone missing before the arrival of the evil god. Satsuna also looks around to see that he is in the Magic Academy building. With this, he confirms that he has gone back 10 years to when he could change the mistake that he made. Satsuna makes a silent vow that he is going to defeat the evil god the next time he fights him. Leo then taps Satsuna on the shoulder, telling him that it is his turn to go to the stage, since they are currently participating in the ceremony of blessings. Satsuna finally pulls himself together, and he walks to the stage where one of the professors is waiting for him. Everyone's eyes are on Satsuna because he is considered to be the greatest genius in the history of the academy. Apparently, Satsuna is so talented that he possesses an affinity for every magic path known to mankind. In this world, magic is divided into multiple paths, each requiring a unique technique to activate. This is why every mage must choose a single magic path. Mastering more than one is nearly impossible, just like how one cannot fully devote themselves to 2 gods at once. The professor then asks Satsuna to select his desired magic path. Confidently, he assumes Satsuna will choose long-range magic, the most popular and practical option for aspiring mages. After all, long-range spells allow one to attack safely from a distance, minimizing the risk of injury. In his past life, Satsuna indeed became the strongest mage by mastering long-range magic, but in the end, it proved useless against the evil god Vindre. Now given a second chance, Satsuna takes his time before making his choice, and when he finally does, his answer leaves everyone in utter shock. Leo, bewildered, recalls Satsuna once saying he'd choose long-range magic, but instead, Satsuna chooses close combat magic, the most ridiculed and least desired of all magic paths. The professor's face turns red as he shouts at Satsuna, reminding him that close combat magic focuses solely on physical enhancement, meaning he can only fight when face-to-face with an enemy, a clear disadvantage in battle. It's an abandoned path, mocked for being utterly useless. Fearing that Satsuna is throwing away his brilliant future, the professor pleads with him to reconsider. But Satsuna knows exactly what he's doing. Everyone may see close combat magic as worthless, yet it was the only power that ever harmed the evil god. Determined, Satsuna chooses without hesitation. He binds himself to the close combat magic path, his resolve unwavering. With this power, he believes he'll finally be able to beat the living daylights out of the evil god Vindre. After completing the binding, Satsuna clenches his fists, confident that this time, he'll forge a new fate with his own hands. Satsuna simply smiles while the rest of the room is left in utter shock and disbelief. The professor snaps his book shut in frustration, glaring at Satsuna. I was planning to pass down all my knowledge to you, he says bitterly, but only if you had chosen the long-range magic path. It turns out the professor is none other than Cyrus Aright, the head of the long-range magic department. Furious, Cyrus yells at Satsuna for not picking the path that would have guaranteed his rise as the strongest mage, and in turn, brought great prestige to Cyrus as his mentor. But Satsuna is unmoved. He no longer cares about recognition or praise. He knows that in just 10 years, everything will be wiped away. Humanity will fall, and in 5 years, Vindre will appear in the sky once more. Though he possesses some theoretical knowledge of the close combat magic path, Satsuna barely has any hands-on experience. He silently vows to master it long before the evil god's return. As his thoughts drift toward the grim future, Cyrus glares at him with pure irritation, like he's staring at a drum he wants to beat to death. Soon after, the students are instructed to head to their respective field classrooms. That's when Satsuna realizes something embarrassing. He has no idea where the close combat magic classroom is. He tries approaching a few classmates for directions, but they all scatter as soon as he speaks, avoiding him like he's carrying a contagious curse. The same students who once surrounded him with admiration now mock him from afar. He's done for, one laughs. Choosing close combat magic? What a waste. Satsuna can hardly believe it. The people who once praised him as a genius now treat him like an outcast. With no one willing to help, he exhales softly, straightens his back, and mutters to himself, "Fine then. I'll figure it out on my own." Satsuna assumes there must be a map of the academy campus posted somewhere in the courtyard, so he decides to head there. As he walks, the sound of shouting catches his attention, a commotion nearby. Turning toward the noise, he sees a red-haired girl surrounded by a few male students. She's standing her ground, furious, demanding they return the brooch they stole, a keepsake given to her by her mother. The boys only laugh, tossing the brooch between them as they examine it. The item gleams faintly, infused with mana. This kind of artifact's too good for a filthy commoner, one sneers. Watching from a distance, Satsuna quickly figures out what's happening. The redhead belongs to the close combat magic department, while the 3 bullies are from long-range magic. They taunt her mercilessly. If you want it back, come take it by force, one of them jeers, smirking. Or are you too weak, little brawler? The leader raises his hand, chanting briefly before hurling a fireball straight at her. The girl narrowly dodges it. A split second later, the ground where she stood erupts in flames. Her movements are fast and sharp, enhanced by the agility granted through close combat magic. But she's still at a disadvantage. The long-range mages can keep their distance and bombard her endlessly. Fuming, the redhead channels her mana into her weapon, summoning a glowing mana blade. I won't let you take this from me, she shouts defiantly. Her opponents just laugh. What's that toy supposed to do? The leader mocks. Can that little blade even reach me? He unleashes another barrage of fireballs. The girl manages to dodge most of them, but one blast catches her side, sending her tumbling to the ground. You'll never beat a real mage, the leader sneers. No matter how hard you try, close combat trash will always stay beneath us. As the remaining fireballs fly toward her helpless form, the redhead braces for the impact, but it never comes. In a blur, Satsuna darts forward, his movement swift and precise. With a quick motion, he whips the girl out of harm's way, the fireballs exploding harmlessly behind them. The spectators and the delinquents are stunned by what just happened. Still holding the red-haired girl in his arms, Satsuna gently sets her down and with a calm smile asks, by any chance, do you know where the close combat magic department is? I'm looking for someone who can guide me there. For a moment, the bullies are frozen until they finally recognize him. That's Satsuna Cromwell, one of them stammers. The Academy's genius. Fear flashes across their faces, but it quickly fades the moment they notice the close combat magic crest glowing faintly on the back of his hand. Their confidence returns with cruel smiles. So the great genius fell into the trash department, huh? The leader sneers. Guess that means we can have some fun beating him up. Satsuna doesn't deny it. He knows better than anyone that close combat magic is considered weak, but strength, he believes, doesn't come from the path itself. It comes from how you use it. As he steps forward, the redhead quickly tries to stop him. Wait, they're seniors. You'll get hurt, she warns. But before she can say more, the delinquents launch their attack. A fireball streaks through the air, racing straight towards Satsuna. Calmly, he draws on his mana, focusing it into his legs. His muscles surge with energy as close combat magic activates, granting him explosive speed. In an instant, he sidesteps the incoming blast, vanishing from the delinquent's sight. Before they can react, Satsuna reappears behind them, landing lightly in their blind spot. The redhead watches, wide-eyed. Even she can't follow his movements. Excitement flashes in Satsuna's eyes. He can feel the rush of speed, the pulse of raw magic coursing through him, and he loves it. He begins circling the delinquents at blinding speed, taunting them as he moves. Is fireball the only trick you know? Come on, try something new. Frustrated and embarrassed, the leader growls and gathers all his mana. Let's see you dodge this, he roars, hurling a massive fireball that tears through the air toward Satsuna. But Satsuna is already prepared. Having gathered enough mana, he conjures a glowing mana blade in his hand. In one swift motion, he slashes through the blazing projectile, and the fireball splits cleanly in two before dissipating into sparks. The entire courtyard falls silent. The delinquents stare in disbelief, and even the redhead gasps. Did he just slice a fire attack? She whispers. Satsuna smirks, lowering his blade. It's simple, he says calmly. Magic against magic, and the one with better control always wins. In his past life, Satsuna became the strongest precisely because of that, his unmatched mastery over magical control. Satsuna looks down at the glowing mana blade in his hand and smiles. For the first time, he realizes that this magic might be far more useful than he had ever imagined. If I combine this strength with speed, he mutters under his breath, the corners of his lips curling upward, I'll be unstoppable. The leader of the delinquents, humiliated and furious, refuses to accept defeat. His pride burns hotter than his magic. You think this is over? He snarls. I'll burn you to ashes. Ignoring the warnings of his friends, he begins gathering an enormous amount of mana into his palms. The air ripples around him as a massive fireball forms, glowing with unstable energy. Stop, you idiot, one of his friends shouts. That level of magic will bring the instructors here. But the delinquent doesn't care. All he can think about is defeating Satsuna, no matter the cost. Before he can finish his incantation, however, Satsuna vanishes. The onlookers gasp, scanning the courtyard in confusion. Where did he? Before the words can leave their mouths, Satsuna appears right in front of the delinquent. His sharp gaze locks onto his opponent's eyes for a brief second, cold, calm, and focused. Then he strikes. With a single swift motion, Satsuna delivers a mana-infused punch straight to the delinquent's chest. The impact sends shockwaves through the air, knocking the boy off his feet and hurling him to the ground with a thud. Silence falls. Dust rises. The crowd stares wide-eyed as the delinquent lies sprawled across the courtyard, completely unable to move. Satsuna straightens up, exhaling softly. He glances at his fist, a faint grin spreading across his face. So that's how it feels, he says quietly. As long as my enemy's within reach, I can win. And in that moment, Satsuna Cromwell finally understands this so-called trash magic might just be the key to defeating the evil god himself.